Welcome back to Inside Games, the only gaming show brave enough to capture a point by flying a jet directly into it.
That's right, the old Battlefield twist. It works every time, right? I'll just jump out right before the plane crashes. Oh, I'm dead.
So dust off those aviators, because we got us a new Battlefield coming.
Yeah, it's awesome. DICE, the lead developers and creators of the entire Battlefield series, finally confirmed that we'll be seeing Battlefield 6 next month. Sort of.
In a weirdly playful tweet, the official Battlefield account let us know that, quote, June and, quote, boom both rhyme with, quote, soon. So implying that we'll get to hear the world's lamest bars in an upcoming Battlefield single.
I love Battlefield. I like Days Ago, boom. I'm gonna see the game soon. I like Days Ago, June. So this is most likely referencing a trailer that has leaked in bits and pieces over the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been a little wacky. I've been following it for a long time. First, 2 potato quality screen grabs leaked. They look terrible. Then 33 seconds of the game trailer's audio leaked. Then all of the game trailer's audio leaked.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that thing?
And it's an interesting listen. I mean, you'd think more would leak if you could listen to the full audio of a trailer, but no, this is just like, it's whoms and then like distant gunfire and some guy going, hurrah! It's like the most generic thing. I'm sure when the video's there, it'll be amazing. But so despite all of these leaks, yeah, we're still confused what's going on with the next Battlefield game. Not to mention, there's been some interesting rumors about the game's setting, factions modes, and of course the ever-looming specter of Battle Royale.
We're both huge Battlefield fans, and DICE fans actually in general. So let's recap everything we know about the upcoming Battlefield game. Lawrence?
I'm buzzing. I'm excited about it. So we'll start with everything we know that, EA has said out loud. And then we'll finish up by kind of interpreting what we can assume from what we know, and then going over some of the wacky rumors.
So we got our first Battlefield 6 rumblings back in April 2020 when lead studio DICE announced they were ceasing updates for Battlefront 2 and that the coming summer update for Battlefield 5 would be the game's last.
Yeah, they got to be freeing up time for something, right? It's either Mirror's Edge Catalyst 2 or Battlefield, and,
CEO of EA does not give a shit about Mirror's Edge. As far as I can see, nobody does. And also, Mirror's Edge is not going to get those fat loot boxes out the door.
In November 2020, EA CEO Andrew Wilson confirmed the next Battlefield, which he did not call Battlefield 6, would release in holiday 2021, so we got a date.
Yeah, Wilson also took the opportunity to drop some executive buzz around the game, saying that the game will achieve, quote, never-before-seen scale, and, quote, deliver a true next-gen vision for the franchise.
Yeah, so I guess we're at that phase of calling everything next-gen of next-gen. It's here! It's next-gen! It's great.
Hey, I'm all right with it, because last time Battlefield went next-gen, we got Battlefield 4. That game ruled. We were just playing it the other night.
Yeah, and it still feels awesome when buildings fall over and stuff. And I gotta admit, at the time, that felt next-gen as hell. So Wilson also at the time did confirm that playtesting was already happening, meaning that the game has been playable since November 2020, which is, it's a good sign.
Yeah, in March 2021, EA Chief Studios Officer Laura Meal shared a post titled, quote, a bold move for Battlefield.
So what's the bold move, Bruce? Did they replace every gun in Battlefield with a woman?
Well, that's way too bold. They instead announced that it moved Criterion off of Need for Speed and onto Battlefield to help out the game's development. So as a result, the next Need for Speed game is delayed until fiscal year 2023, or between April 2022 and March 2023.
Okay, yeah, I mean, the reasons given there are about what you'd expect. EA just wants Battlefield to be really good, so they're putting their best talent on it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it wouldn't be Corpo speak without a little cheesing for the camera, and Meal takes the opportunity to remind you that the next Battlefield features, quote, gameplay is at an unprecedented scale, and that the studios involved, quote, are taking full advantage of the technology and the next-gen consoles.
Yeah, so they're mentioning next-gen again. That's interesting.
The post also references a reveal trailer for Battlefield, which is odd, because it's been about 2 months since, and only recently have we gotten any mention or hint of a trailer at all.
There's a couple ways to interpret this. The most superficial is that the next Battlefield is struggling, so EA's marshaling all of its studios to get it all fixed up and ready for this holiday. Really, the more likely one is that the pandemic probably disrupted production plans, and EA is being a bro in all this by shifting around releases to get developers the resources they need to work effectively.
Yeah, incidentally, EA recently acquired Codemasters, who also has a long pedigree of racing games, and they mentioned that Codemasters will release, quote, some outstanding new racing games in our fiscal year 2022. So it seems that EA's release calendar has a convenient bandage over that particular gap, too.
Yeah, but then EA was like, oh, we don't do it like that. 2 studios, get out of here. No, we need a little more.
If Battlefield is going to be truly, epic? What do they keep saying? Next gen, they got to kick it up a notch, Lawrence.
And up a notch kick they did, Bruce. Last month, EA announced that Battlefield now had 5 active development studios working on it. DICE Sweden, Criterion, DICE Los Angeles, Electronic Arts Gothenburg, and Industrial Toys.
That's a little bit misleading, as we just found out, because Industrial Toys is actually working on the mobile Battlefield that will launch independently from the upcoming mainline Battlefield.
Yeah, and the mobile part may factor into some statements we'll hear from Andrew Wilson in just a minute, so keep that in mind. So, technically, four studios on the next Battlefield, which, that's a lot for one single game.
And again, we get another heap and help in a corporate buzz with DICE general manager Oscar Gabrielson writing that Battlefield will feature, quote, epic scale, all-out military warfare, crazy unexpected moments, game-changing destruction, massive battles packed with more players and mayhem than ever before, all brought to life with the power of next-gen consoles and PCs.
And though we still haven't seen that trailer, remember, so we're now in April, but we still haven't seen that March trailer, the Post invites us to, quote, get ready for our reveal soon. That is also quoted and has a little trademark next to it. So, being a little cute there.
Cute, yeah. And wait, we have and will, apparently.
Yeah, now we're at the present. Still no trailer. Electronic Arts just posted their fiscal year 2021 results. As part of that, they offered statements and guidance for fiscal 2022 that included, you guessed it, Battlefield.
And this is where you would start to hear some worrying things, depending how you take them.
Yeah, when CEOs start talking about how games earn money, my heart tenses up a little bit. So in the prepared remarks, EA CEO Andrew Wilson addressed both Apex Legends and Battlefield together as, quote, two leading franchises in their category, and said that fiscal 22 would include, quote, the addition of new business models that will expand our total addressable audience.
All right, whatever, Wilson. It dances even closer to the fire and saying that EA's, quote, strategy is to grow Battlefield as we have with our other blockbuster franchises like FIFA and Apex. Best-in-class gameplay, deeply engaging live service, a new mobile experience, and more ways to play that we will introduce to reach more players all over the world.
Anytime EA talks about FIFA in the same breath as any one of their other franchises, I start to seize up a little bit because they made outrageous money with FIFA Ultimate Team. I think the good news is they tried very hard to port that model directly over to Battlefront, and it totally burned them. So I think they've learned their lesson about trying to convert each franchise into the same cash cow they have somewhere else. They seem to be more about now trying to develop each franchise into its own thing that is also as revenue generating as FIFA, just maybe without the Ultimate Team card collection angle.
Well, Battlefront was specifically DICE, so I think DICE is specifically burned by that Battlefront 2 launch. And so I'm really hoping that the executives at DICE were holding off EA, even if EA was like, let's do the FIFA Ultimate thing, and they're like, fuck you. We already tried this and it fucked up Battlefront 2, so we're not doing it for Battlefield. I hope that they came to more of a compromise than Battlefront 2, because that was a terrible launch.
I don't know. When it comes to Wilson saying more ways to play that we will introduce to reach more players all over the world, that seems to me to be directly talking about the mobile Battlefront game, whatever that ends up being. Sorry, I said Battlefront. Yeah. Field. Yeah, it seems like mobile is the way that you can really punch into every worldwide territory. The monetization structure, though, that's the thing that worries me. So we'll see. There are other regions that are way more cool with some of that stuff.
Yeah, well, monetization worries aside, Wilson hits some of the same hype beats as previous messaging, describing the next Battlefield as having, quote, here we go again, epic scale, all-out warfare, unexpected moments, and game-changing destruction that takes it all to the next level through the power of next-gen consoles and PCs. Yes, we know, Andrew. We know.
Well, there's that dang next gen again. Well, surely, since they keep saying that every single time, that this game is going to fully realize the power of next-gen hardware. I mean, it's got to be next-gen exclusive, right? There's no way that they can make a game that can run on both if it's so next-gen, right?
Absolutely not, Lawrence. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the QA section following the prepared remarks, Wilson specifically answered that Battlefield will be appearing on current-gen platforms as well.
He clarified that the reference specifically from our prepared remarks is around the nature of gameplay, what we could do with fidelity of the game, what we can do with physics, artificial intelligence, and the immersive nature of the game.
The quote continues, and in the case of Battlefield, what we can do with respect to the amount of plays that we can have in the game and the nature of destruction of those only in Battlefield moments that are truly next-gen opportunities that we're able to do in the context of our next-gen franchises because of the increased processing power and memory and output of the new consoles.
The point of comparison here is definitely Battlefield 4 because that had Levolution. That looked like a massive next-gen thing. Like when, you know, skyscrapers are coming down and storms are blowing through. That's really cool. I hope we get to see stuff like that in this Battlefield for PS5 and Series X.
I think the concern is if it's going to support last gen 2, then none of that can be really vital to the game. Like you can't have the same game run on a crappy old system and have it truly actually take advantage of only things that new systems can do. But I think Battlefield 4 is a good counterpoint to that. It did have Levolution on PS3 and Xbox 360. It just ran like garbage.
So we have confirmation for DICE that something is coming in June. 90-second trailer, probably be something like that. EA Plays events coming up in July. It's a perfect time to show off the game.
Yeah, it's coming up on July 22nd. EA hasn't said that they're going to do this, but this combination kind of makes sense. You know, you get your non-gameplay trailer out in June, and then in July you have a full gameplay demonstration. Actually, it reminded me again of Battlefield 4. What they did at E3 back in the day, they came out to do the gameplay demo, and then the curtain swung wide, and there were like 30 people on stage, all playing one match of Battlefield 4. And I think that really sent the message that, you know, this is next gen. It's big. Look at all these people. So I could see EA doing something like that, but like since they're not part of E3 anymore and they can book stuff wherever they want, I could see them doing like 128 people in a giant stadium all playing one match of Battlefield. I think that would be a really cool exhibition, and since they're doing their own thing, they have as much stage time as they want. They could bring in commentators and just have like a full 1 hour thing. This is, again, just purely off the dome. There's no reason to believe this is going to be real, but it seems to make sense. You know, the factors are kind of lining up. I think it would be a good wow moment to show off the scale of the game.
I've actually seen that, almost exactly that. Fortnite put that event on a couple of years ago at E3, and it was 100 people in a stadium, and they were all playing Fortnite. It cost a lot of money. So I don't know that EA is going to blow all that money on Battlefield. I hope they do, because I love seeing it, and Battlefield's my favorite franchise, but I'm biased. So, you know.
Well, it's interesting you bring up budgeting, because you know, we're coming off of a year of events and PR not really having anything to spend money on. They haven't been able to book PR events or influencer events or anything. So I don't know if corporate budgets work this way, but it would make sense that if you have almost zero expenditures in 1 year, that you could just, you know, I'm not an accountant, but, you know, there's got to be more money to spend after you haven't spent anything. So maybe they're sitting on 2 years worth of promo bucks, and they're going to be willing to blow it on a huge event to try to catapult Battlefield up into being a FIFA Ultimate Team style property.
Obviously, we're speculating already, so we've gotten through all the official info. So let's actually get into the juicy gossip.
Yeah, there's some good stuff here. So most of this info comes through a noted leaker named Tom Henderson, who has kind of yet to be invalidated in any major way and seems to be operating in largely good faith. Just seems to be a mega Battlefield fan that seems to have some kind of interior hookup.
If you rearrange the letters in Bruce Green, do you know what it spells? The biggest info dump from them came back in March 2021 with their inaugural Gone Gold newsletter.
Yeah, in the newsletter, Tom starts by claiming that the new game will just be called Battlefield, which kind of jives with the fact that no one at EA is calling it Battlefield 6. And there hasn't actually been a single game called just Battlefield, which is a weird thing to come to terms with. Yeah, the first one was called Battlefield 1942, but bizarrely, there is a game called Battlefield 1.
Tom also describes a wild setting for the game's campaign. Apparently, the game will take place in the near future. Tom references Black Ops 2 here. In a world where the United States and Russia are the only remaining superpowers and are locked in a never-ending Cold War.
You play as a specialist unit that gets to choose which side you fight for as the campaign goes on, which, you know, that sounds neat. You don't have to only be American. It's kind of weird for a military game. The campaign will also feature co-op. It's always a bonus. Battlefield 5's campaign had co-op too, as I recall.
It did. They're fun. The multiplayer, according to Tom, is described as Battlefield 3 or 4 on steroids. And that Battle Royale is also in the works, but likely wouldn't launch with the game.
Does that mean it's going to be epic, featuring a scale never before seen?
Gameplay-wise, Tom writes that the game's 4 playable classes will not only have unique gadgets and equipment they can use, but also innate abilities which function like Call of Duty's perks. Quote, for example, a scout soldier might have silent footsteps, whereas an assault soldier might be able to sprint for a longer duration.
They also state that the, quote, reveal trailer for Battlefield will not feature any gameplay nor multiplayer, and will be somewhat similar to the beginning of the Battlefield 5 reveal trailer, which is something I'm sure we'll all be a little upset about.
This implies Henderson has seen the trailer, or at least had it described to them, which will be slightly important later.
Henderson also dropped a few other hot details on Twitter that we were able to scoop up. Apparently in Battlefield, you'll be able to have a Boston Dynamics-like Robo-Dog that you can customize. Yay! Guess you can give your little Robo-Pal a paint job or dog tags.
You really got to get more imaginative here. I want a robot dog with a 20-foot weed leaf hologram on him at all times.
I mean, weed leaves on everything is probably not too far out of the question. Henderson says that, quote, there will be some wacky cosmetics since it's a near future setting, which again makes me think about Black Ops. Those, despite being like, the campaigns were kind of dour and weirdly like serious, man, the multiplayer was just like people with like laser boots and weed leaf laser guns, and it was just, it's out there. Henderson also grabbed a reply from Wilson to a question about Battle Royale in the Q&A section. Wilson said, quote, nothing to announce at the moment on either an annualized release of Battlefield and or the nature of the modes in the upcoming Battlefield game. We're going to talk a lot about that in the months to come.
In other news, someone on Reddit that since deleted their post, thank you Internet Archive, claimed to have a friend at DICE LA that said the game, my dad works at DICE, that said the game would have a free-to-play Battle Royale that would hit in March 2022.
The archive post had tons of other tidbits in it. You know, the Internet Archive has it all if you want to pick it over. 128 player conquest modes is pretty neat. No vehicle spawns. Apparently you got to spawn and run to them like classic style. That'll be interesting. Tickets are still how conquest mode works, but apparently each place you own, like it'll spawn sub-objectives around it that you can go capture to either reveal parts of the map for a little while or get temporary bonuses. That's kind of a neat way to sort of break up, the moment-to-moment gameplay. I feel like maybe when people get into Battlefield, they don't know what to do a lot of the time because it's just so huge and it feels chaotic. So if you can generate little, like, achievable goals for people, it might, keep them a little more invested.
When asked on Twitter, Tom Henderson dismissed the post by saying that a soldier with a U.S. flag on his uniform dies in the trailer, so I stopped reading after the first paragraph. Haha.
Yeah, that took me a minute to kind of parse what that means, so this is my best attempt at interpreting that. As far as I can tell, Tom is disputing the claim that, and this is from the archived post that has since been deleted, the claim that, quote, US and Russia don't fight directly against each other on any of the maps. So Henderson's saying, I saw a US soldier die in the trailer. Maybe that's implying that the trailer is showing US and Russian troops fighting each other directly, whereas the leaker is saying that never happens. Maybe that's where the thing, who knows?
Yeah, either way, the original poster deleted their leak and faded into the void, so we're kind of right back where we started. But we are probably going to get a trailer. I don't know if there'll be gameplay, but there'll definitely be a trailer in June, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm just still waiting for it. One of these days. There's been some interesting speculation about what's in the trailer. It might be a little too concerning. World events could probably make that seem pretty bad if there's Russian and US troops shooting each other to death in the trailer. So I could see being cagey about any of that. You don't want to drop the trailer and then have a horrible world tragedy happen. That's obviously far worse than having a botched PR campaign, but if that's your job, that's what you worry about.
They're waiting a long time, honestly, to show the gameplay for this, and I hope that everything is on pace for the game's release this holiday. It sounds like since they've moved a lot of studios around, they are actually going to hit that, but I'm very afraid they're going to delay this game.
And yeah, Battlefields don't have the best track record of launching smoothly, which, I would say it's safe to just expect a couple of rough weeks no matter what. My bigger concern is how EA is going to want to. They're talking about Battlefield as though it's going to be one of their big banner franchises. To some degree, it already is. But the gulf of money they earn between Battlefield and something like FIFA is very wide. And to hear them talk about them in the same breath starts to make me think, what do you have planned for this? Which is another way of saying, how are you going to ruin it? That's kind of my worry. I think that EA's learned their lesson, though. They seem to have really taken to heart the way that Battlefront 2 went down. So I think they're going to try something, but I think it's not going to be the obvious thing. And that's what maybe has me concerned.
That's very worrisome, Lawrence. All I have to say to Andrew Wilson is, you stay away from those motherfucking cards. That card system in Battlefront 2, you stay away from it.